Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we watched Digimon Adventure: which is a 2020 reboot, episode 14, The King of Insects Clash, which is a kind of awkward title, so I'm kind of... At the start of this show, I kind of wanted them to stop using their own, interpretations of titles, but now they're using, the direct translation, and I'm like, no, never mind, stop.
Yeah.
You can stop now.
Well, and, you could have even just translated the same thing, but better as the Insect King's Clash.
Yeah, that would be
fair.
This one sound
hard.
Or, put some punctuation in there, like the King of Insects Clash, or something.
Anything.
I don't know, just... It just feels awkwardly worded because it's...
The way it's written now, it feels like
sorry.
it needs a semicolon, and, nothing should ever need a semicolon.
No, especially not the song Semicolon by Lonely Island.
I don't know this song, but that's okay.
It is a pretty good song, but anyway, so as you may have figured, I am joined by Quinn.
Hi.
And Stevie.
Hello.
And with all that out of the way, we'll move on to the synopsis. So, of course, we get our Digimon Analyzer, and this time it's Tentomon, and Koshiro explains that Tentomon speaks in the Kanzai-ben, and he wonders what dose means, and I was meant to look this up, but I did not look this up, so I still do not know what
I also do
dose
not,
means.
But I'm gonna find out.
Cool. But, I've always been a big fan of the fact that, some Digimon just speak in different dialects, like Amadimon in 02 speaks in Nagoya-ben, so he's all very Dagya, it's adorable. But Koshiro says that he should ask Tentomon what dose means.
Yeah.
And I'm just I'm surprised he didn't already.
Yeah.
Dose Literature Club.
Oh, wow.
I've not played the game, so I don't know anything about it.
Oh, I've not played it either. Apparently it's heartbreaking, but that's all I know.
Well, apparently it can mean gay, so that's what I've decided he means.
Yeah, that's sounds gay. I'm in. I'm very much for Tentomon just calling it gay, as a chant.
It can also mean sibling, which is cute, but I like it better as gay.
Well, yeah, what's up, my gays? What's up, my siblings? It's,
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, same thing. It's basically how I greeted both of you before we started recording this morning.
It's true. Hey, gays.
So,
How's it going?
Maybe I'm secretly Tentomon.
You know what? That would make a lot of sense. If you can't
It
have
would- it makes so much
Airdramon,
sense.
being Tentomon's pretty great.
Yeah, I feel like that works. Meanwhile, my partner, whenever he sees Tentomon, he says, "Oh, that's Diaboromon." So I'm like, oh no. Because he thinks that Tentomon's super evil, because he saw Infamon, and he was like, that looks like Tentomon, and also he saw Kawagamon, and he says, that's a super evil Digimon, that looks like Tentomon. So he's just hellbent on the fact that Tentomon is secretly evil.
Alright, but in fairness, his partner is adopted and does have soulless black eyes.
Yeah, if anyone were to be evil, it's Koshiro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, he just seems very soulless, and even in the episode where he was soulless in the original adventure, he somehow looked the same amount of soulless as normal.
Yeah, they tried to make him look more, and it was exactly the same.
Yeah. But, oh well, so yeah, Gomamon is next time, so the next episode will be a Joe episode, which I'm hopeful for, but I'm also kind of, worried because they haven't been treating Joe super, super duper well lately.
Yeah. I was surprised by how good this episode was, though, so, maybe.
Oh, me too. I had, no, impressions going in, and I wrote about that in the blog post a bit, at the start. I have no idea what to expect. I'm kind of I have ideas about what could happen because they've actually been foreshadowing it with, his computers just started to be sort of patchy in terms of how it's working. So, okay, well, I guess they're actually foreshadowing... And this is the first time they've done that this season. They've actually foreshadowed someone's crest and evolution before it actually happens, which I'm a big fan of. But I was kind of... I didn't have any expectations going into this episode. And spoiler alert, surprised by the episode. I actually really enjoyed it. So that was that.
I mean, I predicted a while ago that the whole thing would be Izzy realizes he is smart even without his computer.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be how he got his Digivolution.
It's true. It's just This is the first time we've had anyone have any degree of character growth as part of an evolution. So
Mimi, I feel like Mimi's episode was really good in highlighting what her crest is, because her crest, and we saw this a bit in 02 with Miyako, is that it's more like the sincerity of expressing your emotions and how you feel them.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Mimi
I agree.
expresses... Yeah.
Mimi was already doing that. This is the first
Yeah,
time
she
a
was already
character has
perfect.
improved as a human being, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns out the answer is yes, Koshiro is actually smart without the need to Google things, which I just felt was really great. But I guess we'll get onto more about that in just a bit. Something I've noticed about the opening in this episode is that there were sound effects, like the Digi-Egg hatching, the Digivice sparkling, Greymon evolving.
Oh yeah,
And
I had not actually paid that much attention to it because I was distracted. But yeah,
no, and this was new this episode. Like, this has not been in the previous episodes. I'm fairly certain.
not
I
that
don't really like it
remember.
because it kind of breaks up the opening in a weird way. It just makes it feel kind of awkward. And I don't know, does this mean that we'll get a new opening soon?
I think this is the closest we're getting to a new opening, especially since we did get a new ending.
Oh, I don't want just new sound effects. That's not the type of evolving opening I wanted, Digimon. I wanted I wanted actual. I wanted actual evolving, like, as in the additional characters. It's still just Taichi, but they added in sound effects. That's not what I wanted.
Look, be
I wanted
careful what you
change,
ask
not like
for.
this.
Look,
Yeah, I just like,
look. The same thing happened under Obama. You get used to it eventually.
yeah, like, thanks, Obama. But no, but seriously, the opening, like, I wanted the titles to be more closely matching their the Japanese, like, what it actually said in Japanese, and I got that, and I hate it. And now I wanted a different opening. I wanted it to evolve over time, and they did that, but I hated it. So it's very much be careful what you wish for, because I asked for this, but not like this. Like, I don't know. It was weird,
Sorry,
and I
I'm just
wasn't a fan of the
channeling,
sound effects.
Switch from the Matrix right now. Not like this. Not like this. But yeah, no, the I do like the new ending. It's actually it's pretty bop.
Oh, the ending is fantastic. Definitely, I know we're jumping ahead a bit, but the highlight was most certainly both Yamato drying Gabumon's pelt and Gabumon snatching and wearing it. That was great. Also, Mimi being frantically looking for Palmon in a bunch of flowers, then finding Palmon and then hugging her and crying is like, that's peak Mimi.
It's very good.
That's like the most Mimi. Like, her crying and finding Palmon is just so... That's Mimi. I love her.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the new ending, which big fan of.
Also, was I not paying attention? Did she call Koshiro her servant?
Oh, she
She
did.
did at the end, but I
Okay.
think it was
Here
a
for
joke.
it. Oh, it was. I'm just like, I'm here for it because, hey, we're actually, like, we're remembering a thing from a previous episode. Digimon doesn't do that.
Yeah, because she said, "Oh, I'm taking you all on as my servants." And even though Koshiro wasn't there for that, I'm sure the message got across to him.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. Like, I'm glad, like, oh yeah, she's still a queen.
Yeah, damn right she is.
Oh, Mimi's the best.
Mimi
It
will
wasn't even a
always
Mimi
be
episode.
queen.
Anyway, so back onto we're kind of jumping around
Yeah,
here.
let's go in order.
Yeah. So we see what Yamato's group are doing. They're walking up a hill. Yamato's walking alongside Gabumon, and Piyomon is flying, while Sora and Joe are relaxing as Ikakumon walks them. And this is like really... I don't know, I really like this scenery. There's like some nice flowers at the front, and then there's like a mountain, and there's nice greenery, and it's an interesting comparison compared to what we see of Taichi's group, and they are in a dark, sort of dry, colourless canyon. So, I know, I like the use of colours. So, Piyomon says that she should carry everyone, but Sora says that she should get some rest, because that's actually reasonable. Like, you should get Digimon to have rest, because you never know who's going to need to evolve. And Ikakumon says that Piyomon should just sit and relax on his back too. And so she does, and it's really cute. And then Joe calls out and asks Yamato and Gabumon to join them. And they sort of just ignore him. And Joe wonders if he's working on his legs, which is a really funny line. Like, Joe's just not shutting up, by the way. And then he says, "Oh no, Yamato must be scouting out. Good work, Yamato. Keep on scouting." And Yamato's ignoring him. And it's just, this is just such a great. I love the constant checking on the other group to see what's going on, like how they're dealing with. And I just love the dynamic that we have here. And I just love how they're just sort of hanging out, walking along. Ikakumon's on land. He's like the land seal. I love him.
He's a good.
He must be so hot.
Yeah, that must be actually super uncomfortable.
Unless for some reason, because I know this doesn't exist in real life, or maybe it does and I just don't know, but, I mean, I don't think it does, but maybe because Ikakumon's like an icy Digimon, he just sort of emits sort of like a coldness on his fur, maybe?
I'm thinking his fur is just insulating.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But, I don't know, like, they look really comfortable. And the thing is, no one's complained about being hot this season yet, really?
True.
they've
God, I'm so
complained
glad
about
we
being
didn't wander
cold.
through a desert today.
No, well we did. Well, we did a couple of episodes ago, but they pointed out that it was cold in the desert.
Yeah, there's that too.
Which happens. Like, people forget the deserts get very, 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 very cold overnight.
It's true.
Because there's no way for the heat to sort of escape. So it's not really kept in by trees or what have you.
Yep.
So, yeah, they get very cold during the night. And even though it wasn't the night, like, it is possible. So being hot in a desert isn't the only possibility. We see that there's a quick news broadcast of what's happening in Tokyo, and there are a lot of fires breaking out, which
There are a lot
I'm
of
not
people
sure
trapped in
how.
elevators, which... How long has this been going on that you're still using elevators?
I don't know, I feel like maybe it was very sudden, the loss of power, and I don't feel like much time has passed in the real world.
I thought it
been
had
like a
been like
day.
12 hours. Yeah, like power
Yeah, but
has
they
been
might be still
slowly
stuck in-
going out across the nation, and people are still using elevators. Anyway, it's
Well,
fine.
I mean,
it's fine.
People aren't wearing masks, and it's been months.
Yeah, I was
So
just about to say, we're living in a pandemic, and people are still, like, there was news the other day of people, because it was starting to get warm in Australia again, people just going to the beach.
Yep.
Even though there's, like, you can't go to the beach at the moment.
Yep.
So,
God, I hate
people
people.
don't, like, people will do things if they think, oh, it's okay, I'm only in the lift for, like, 5 minutes. And then, yeah, regretting it immediately.
Yeah.
So, people being stupid is not, like, something that will surprise me anymore in media. Maybe people just
Fair,
do that.
It's fair. I wasn't saying it was unrealistic. I'm saying it bugged me.
Oh, yeah.
bugs.
Humans bug me. Yeah, bugs. It bugs me. The bugs this episode.
It's no
Bugs.
easy
So-
task.
No easy task. Oh, still the best line in all of Digimon. And if there's a dub of this, I need it to be somewhere. I really need it.
Yep.
Like,
There's a better line.
it's the best line.
It's not a mirage. It's real water.
There are so many fantastic lines in the dub, and people always say, "Oh, the dub's so stupid." I'm like, no, you need to enjoy it for what it
You
is.
have to accept
A
that this is
gem.
actually secretly amazing.
Yeah, and also, like, to be fair, there is no way for people to legally consume, like, most of Digimon in Japanese. So, unless of course you know Japanese and you can you can spend like $200 on a Blu-ray box set, whatever. But the thing is, just accept the dub. We're not young teenagers anymore who need to pretend to be cool. We can just enjoy things.
Well, and I
Anyway,
still
so-
like the original better, but
Yep.
the dub is still kind of fun. Like, it's fine.
The dub, in some parts, the dub is an improvement. Like, in times where it's just kind of boring, like the prequel movie
Yeah.
is just a little bit boring in the original because nobody talks.
I was kind of here
but
for the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, the atmosphere's good, but if you are a child, you kind of like, and I guess it's to do with the demographic. Like, the dub is the way it is because that's what works for kids. They didn't just release it; they would have tested it on children.
Well, that
so,
sounds unethical.
oh, it does, but like you know what I mean. They,
Yes,
they
I
put the
do.
kids in a room and they say, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
Yeah, I know.
And did you laugh? And they probably say yes because they were saying, "Hey,
funny.
don't attack the bus because they're always late." And I'm an adult and I think that's funny.
It was
It
great.
is funny.
Like, hey, sorry, I missed that. I was asleep, but you're the one driving. That's great. That's hilarious. Thank you, Dub.
Anyway,
I speak the truth.
so
Anyway,
the
so
show
I
that
don't,
we're watching.
yeah, I don't mind people being stuck in elevators. That's kind of reasonable. People will kind of just do that. I don't understand how fires are breaking out because there's like a power outage.
Because people loot during power outages.
Yep, but I can't
guess.
imagine that happening in Tokyo, really.
Traffic light failures lead to car collisions and explosions.
Yeah, but like
That's
there was
the
a building
only
on
thing I
fire
can
at the
think of.
top floor.
The anti-fire measures exploded.
Sure, why not?
I don't have
Like-
a better explanation.
Digimon attacking.
Nah,
We've not
Yes,
seen
obviously.
Yeah,
Digimon
that's-
in the real world yet.
that's true.
No, they're kind of like remember in
We've seen them in the net.
episode where Taichi goes home and they go like there are Digimon there, but they're not like there. They're still causing like issues. I don't know.
We'll just have to wait and
But,
see, because it's hard to say
yeah, it could
if
be
any
explained.
of that still holds.
Oh yeah, like I'm just guessing. Anyway, so we see what Taichi's group are doing, and they're in a maze, and it's this insane canyon maze sort of thing. And Mimi and Palmon are worried that they will get lost. Koshiro loses reception on his tablet again, which I don't know why it's called reception. It's clearly just not working. It's not really like there's no reception. It's just like it's just shut off. There's no power.
Yeah, I think that might be a bad translation, but I didn't pay enough attention to the wording used.
Oh, me neither. I absolutely like this. I need to like stop watching things with subtitles because subtitles are such like
It's a
I don't
crutch, and
listen.
I like it sometimes, but yeah.
I couldn't watch without subtitles because I don't understand Japanese.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, that is fair, but I feel like I don't listen to the words used
As much,
when I'm as much if I'm reading the subtitles. Like I might pick up like a naruhodo or a mochiron because of course I would. They're very typical sentences, or phrases rather. But anyway, so Koshiro doesn't have like his computer shutting off, and Tentomon says he can observe from overhead, which is a good idea, but Taichi says they shouldn't get separated as they may be unable to communicate over terrain such as this. And this surprised me that they addressed this because not only does it potentially address that they haven't been in contact with the other group because there's some limitation to the amount of distance that they can be to contact over the digivices, and also it addresses something later on that happens. So well done Digimon for explaining something that not only answers some questions that I had in the last episode, but also addresses something that happens later on in this episode, and that's very Appmon. Because Appmon was good and it was well written, and it honestly, like whenever there was something that I had a question about, it would explain it. And that doesn't really happen in Digimon because Digimon tends to not be that well written.
Yeah.
So well done Digimon.
It's good.
Mimi and Palmon find some crystals and they're pulling faces. They're kind of like those magic mirrors you see outside like the pancake parlor or in a theme park. And Taichi says they have these in amusement parks. And Koshiro starts to analyze the crystals, but he forgets that his computer isn't working. And suddenly we see a sound birdmon overhead. Now, I didn't notice this when I was watching the episode, but a lot of people are making comparisons to Milan.
What?
And I just like...
I'm not sure
I get that with the... people are making references like the animation of Mulan, like the movie. There's because all these there's like a lot of cinematic parallels, but I didn't notice this in the episode.
Yeah, you say it
Like,
now and it kind of makes sense to me, but I did not notice it at the time.
Yeah, it's not as much as the Miyazaki parallels in episode 12, which I feel like were just references. But this one, I feel like this one wasn't as immediately obvious. I'm not saying it's not on purpose, but it's not as obvious. Like, I didn't realize it until a few people started saying it on Reddit, and I was just like, oh, I guess I can just kind of see it, but yeah, it's just... They're also foreshadowing something that happens later on. So Digimon is doing a thing.
It sounds
we
more
see
like
Kuwagumon.
a coincidence than anything.
Yeah, it could also just be a coincidence, but yeah, I didn't notice it. So this time Kuwagumon is just huge, like or maybe I just misremember how big Kuwagumon is because he changes sizes in the first episode of Digimon so many times.
Yeah, I mean, he changes size a lot anyway, and I think most of them do, but Kuwagumon more than the others.
Yeah.
It's just regular champion size.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we haven't really seen champion level Digimon fight Kuwagumon until like Try, and I feel like there was one in Adventure, I think. But this one was a lot better fight. Koshiro can't look up what Digimon it is, so Tentomon explains, and suddenly there are a lot of Kuwagumon now, and there's one that's emitting a miasma, so that shows that these Kuwagumon are under the control of Sound Birdmon. They are evil, so we will fight these, is basically what that says.
Yeah.
We get some real-time evolutions, which I absolutely adore. Palmon and Tentomon like turn into orbs as they evolve, and they sort of move towards the Kuwagumon while they're evolving. And it is so much better than just having like Palmon and Tentomon evolve and then Agumon having a separate evolution, which is the animated one. This looked really good. And also, I really do like real-time evolutions because we can actually see what's happening at the same time, because evolutions are not instantaneous. They would take time, and things occur during that time. And it's not really shown much in Digimon. It was shown in our war game where Diaboromon, or maybe Infamon at the time, attacks a Digimon while he's evolving. So, I don't know, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
Kabuteromon's basically wrestling one, and he wonders which one is stronger. Greymon is getting pretty badly beaten by two Kuwagumon, and Kabuterimon is being attacked. Kabuterimon is also being attacked by two and is struggling. And Koshiro is worried because he could look up their attacks and how they were, like their what their patterns were if he had reception on his computer. Togemon saves Greymon from an attack, which is called Coconut Counter, and I've never seen her use that attack before. Maybe I have, but not as much as Prickly Bang Bang.
Yeah, she's used Coconut Upper once, I think, but...
Yeah, but
this
is just... Togemon's so good in this episode. Like, this was a good episode for Togemon, and while my main complaint of this episode was that Greymon could have evolved, I feel like Togemon didn't really need to evolve. I feel like Togemon was probably the best Digimon she could be for this situation because she could punch.
Oh, yeah, Lilymon
And I
would be
feel like-
eaten out of the sky. Just whole.
Yeah, like, I don't think Lilymon would have done so well, so I don't have any complaints that Togemon didn't evolve to Lilymon because Togemon didn't actually do that badly. She struggled when she was against two of them later on in the episode, but this point she's actually doing fine. She's actually not struggling, and I think she's great. Togemon's great in this episode. It's not even a Togemon or Mimi episode, but Togemon is just so cool and is just fighting really well because she can. She's got punching and it's really cool.
Good energy together.
Yeah. Koshiro points out that it looks like the Kuwagamon are actually hunting them, and then Mimi points out that if they got to a narrow part, they won't be able to swoop like before, and then Taiji also points out that they should keep moving because they're still hunting them. Suddenly a Kuwamon shows up who is a perfect level, and the group is now cornered by the group of Kuwagamon and the Akuamon. Nobody attempts to evolve, which is kind of weird for Digimon. Like, previously we've seen them try to evolve, like, particularly this season, they would always evolve to their highest level. But Greymon not evolving feels really weird. Like, you could argue that it's because it's a small canyon, but also Akuamon is there. And I feel like the only reason that...
Greymon is massive later.
Oh yes, definitely. I don't understand why Greymon couldn't evolve, other than he would have been too strong.
Well, they had the whole shot there where it looked like Greymon was about to digivolve. Like, Ty's Digivice was glowing, but because Greymon's being pummeled, he just can't build up the energy or focus to actually digivolve.
Yeah, and that does make sense, but I feel like there are also times where he could have evolved, where he usually would have. But again, that's my only real complaint about this episode. So Taichi says that they should look for a way out, and Koshiro is stressing that he can't use his computer to look up answers, which is just like, I've really empathized with his stress. Like, you can really see how Koshiro is struggling.
Koshiro is truly a millennial.
Yeah, even though he's like, what's the one like after Gen Z? Because he wouldn't be Gen Z because
no, that one hasn't been named yet. So I think we're going with Zoomers.
I thought it was Alpha or something. I thought it was Alpha.
The names don't have an actual tradition at all, so. I mean, like...
I swear there was another name.
Z only came because X happened and apparently Y isn't cool enough.
The group all attend to run away and escape, and they sort of run in different directions to sort of separate the group. We then find out that Koshiro can't communicate with his Digivice, which is kind of well done because they explained this earlier on in the episode, and I pointed it out when they did explain it. But it's just really nice that they actually said, Taichi sort of guessed that maybe they couldn't, but now we know that they can't. So not only does it explain why potentially nobody has contacted the other group and there's been no contact between the groups to let them know what's happening, and also now we know that there's a reason why Koshiro can't contact the rest of the group. Greymon is under attack, and Togemon is fighting Kuwagamon. Mimi says she hates this maze and the Kuwagamon, and then suddenly they get attacked. Taichi says they must have heard her, and Mimi says sorry, but she really does hate them. I'm like, I love how, like... That's valid. Sincere she is. Like, she's so sincere in her emotions. She's just like, well, I still hate them. Like, they've attacked. But, like, I'm sorry to you that they attacked, but I'm not sorry that I hate them. I love Mimi.
I hate them in large part because they're the kind of people who would do this.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Koshiro and Kabuterimon are going through the maze, and Koshiro says he can't guide Kabuterimon or analyze data without his laptop working. Akuamon shows up and swats Kabuterimon to the side, but Kabuterimon attacks him and says that this is his digital spirit, and, like, I love Kabuterimon so much. Tentomon in general is really good in this episode because he motivates Koshiro, and he can see that Koshiro's down and still wants to fight, and he's so good. And I always love how surprisingly emotive Tentomon and Kabuterimon are for Digimon that are bug Digimon and don't really have any sort of facial features that other Digimon have. Like Agumon and Piomon and Palmon, they all have, and Gabumon, they all have like facial features where they can smile, they can emote. But Tentomon doesn't really have that many facial features because he's a bug, so that's fair. But they always manage, and even in like Adventure, they managed to, like the original Adventure in 02 and Kizuna, they managed to make Tentomon like extremely emotive. I don't know, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
Koshiro keeps looking down at his computer, and it's kind of heartbreaking how useless he looks because it really shows how useless he feels, and it's really, I think it's really good at really showing the viewer about how he's actually feeling. It's portraying a sense of uselessness, a sense of this frustration, and it's just maybe I'm reading into it too much, and I'm sort of too gushing over too much, but I just really like how it's conveying how he feels. I'm a big fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Kabutomon's basically being eaten, and Koshiro says that there's nothing he can do. And then Kabutomon says that Koshiro still has the ultimate weapon that can beat his tablet, and it's his brain and his own knowledge. Koshiro makes this really weird face, and I think it's meant to be determination, but it kind of just, it doesn't look right. I don't know, there's something weird about it. Yeah, he looks constipated. So he puts down the laptop and looks around. Koshiro finds a way for them to escape from the Akumon, and he says he got so caught up in helping everyone with his laptop, he stopped actually using his own brain and just relied on his tablet instead of his own intelligence. Then Koshiro starts thinking of ways that they can beat the Kawagamon and regroup the group. Then Kabutomon evolves to Atlas Kabutomon because he's motivated by Koshiro's knowledge and his brain power rather than relying on his laptop the whole time. So the laptop was more or less being a crutch, basically.
The laptop was inside you the whole time.
Yeah, Elon Musk has put the chip in your brain, and your brain is now the supercomputer.
You know, if it wasn't Elon Musk, I might sign up for that.
Yeah, same. So the Kabutomon is able to rescue the group from the Kawagamon, and when he shows up, he's like, "Atlas Kabutomon, at your service," and it's such a cool line. Like, I'm not sure how they made this bug so cool.
I'm here for it.
Totally here for it. Atlas Kabutomon is able to fight off the Kawagamon, but is attacked by Akumon, and he now wants to fight Akumon in an open space, and so they fly off, and Togemon keeps the Kawagamon from following, and Koshiro calls out to tell the group to use the mirror rocks from before to confuse and break the coordination of the Kawagamon, which is, again, they're pulling something from earlier in the episode, and now that's relevant.
We got a Chekhov's weird crystal thingies.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah,
they're not just pulling any sort of, and also again, and it's something that I always praise this season on, and maybe I overpraise this season on, but they're definitely using more tactics. In the original adventure, Kabutomon would evolve to Atlas Kabutomon and then just attack bigger.
Yeah.
And they'd win. But this one, it's not only the fight between Atlas Kabutomon and Akumon, it's also Togemon and Greymon and the Kawagamon. They're actually fighting, themselves. They are also in the episode. It's not just, hey, this is Koshiro's episode, so everyone else is just going to sit by and watch Koshiro have an episode. They're actually participating. There are too many bad guys for just Atlas Kabutomon to swat away, so...
God, I wish every episode
big
could
fan.
be this.
Me too. And it's also, episode 12 was also good, so well done. Now I feel bad for giving the last episode a 4, because I'm just like, wow, this was last episode's still okay, but this episode, much better. Anyway, so... Mimi and Togemon look really cool fighting the Kawagamon, but I guess Taichi and Greymon are not looking cool at all, because it's time for an evolution. Which feels a really weird thing to do now, because you are just fighting Kawagamon, and you're not failing particularly.
You were doing just fine earlier.
They were doing just not as well as Togemon was doing.
Yep.
Greymon was a sitting duck.
Yeah, Greymon was getting beaten. Togemon was doing really well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It feels weird that they have this. Okay, now it's time for Greymon to have an evolution. Because it doesn't really go anywhere, and it's just we're taking up the time with another animation.
Yeah.
And it's just not. I don't know. I didn't really like. You didn't have to evolve now. I know that Greymon is struggling, and it really all it does is it makes Togemon seem stronger.
Mm-hmm. Which is good.
Because Togemon is able to fight. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And Mimi and Togemon look so cool fighting the Kawagamon. Mimi lures them out really bravely and, sort of stuns them, but when they sort of run into the mirrors instead. And, just such a big fan. Except the Metal Greymon feels weird. Anyway, so Atlas Kabutomon asks what Koshiro's plan for him is, and Koshiro just says, hey, look, it's Digimon and it's shonen. Let's just full power one-on-one plus ultra. And Atlas Kabutomon fights and wins against Akumon. And then when they land, Tentomon and Koshiro high-five. And magically, Koshiro's tablet is also inspired and strengthened by Koshiro's power of knowledge and works again. And Koshiro points out that it's faster now.
I'm sort of here for it. Especially if it's just, the computer just runs on magic from your crest.
Which I think might be the case because in the first few episodes, the laptop suddenly like had an upgrade and said wisdom activated or something, like the crest of wisdom, and I don't know, it's really
It was very strange, but I'm here for that.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely the case. Like the tablet has become a Digimon.
Yeah.
It's
growing.
Like remember the D terminals? They existed for the kids before. Like the D terminals weren't given to. Yeah, those were just like little personal PDA sort of things. They our personal PDA is very redundant, I know, but they weren't they weren't given by the digital gods or whatever to them. They just sort of had them before. And then they became, like, Digimon things. Like, you could store the Digi-Eggs on them. So, I guess the laptop's doing that?
Yeah, I'm fine with this.
And instead of having a Genai, like, upgrade it and make it something, and adding in the port for the Digivice, it just sort of is doing it. So I don't think we're going to have Genai.
God, I hope not.
I know, I kind of appreciate when there's something different from the original, like, because... Really, Genai could just be replaced by a laptop.
Yeah.
Genai's being replaced by big
Genai was adequately replaced by giant stone tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fair. Like, that's all. He was only there to deliver prophecies, and
Law.
Really, anyone can deliver prophecy.
Yeah, anyone can be wildly irresponsible and leave children to go fight a war for them.
Yeah. So, I guess we're not having Genai today, or this season, which is fine. I appreciate any differences that they make to make it not the original, because the original... People say that the original is really good, and people say... Like, I've seen people on YouTube say that this...
Isn't
like,
as good.
on the individual videos... Like, I've been uploading the Evolution videos, and people keep saying, oh, it's not as good as the original. I'm like, have you watched the original recently?
Yeah.
Like, the animation is very 90s, which makes sense because it's the late 90s. And, yeah, there's also a lot of very average episodes and not many fantastic episodes, so...
There's a lot of nostalgia involved, which is fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia. But if anyone watches Digimon today and sort of, like, looks at it as an adult... and like someone who has consumed other pieces of media since, they'll sort of say, hey, it's kind of
it's a little
not
bit
good.
Mediocre. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very... I mean, it's not like terrible. It's not the worst season of Digimon.
But, yeah.
Yeah. But also, it was the first season of Digimon, so of course it had to explain and set up a franchise. It was kind of meant to be the introduction to the franchise, so... I don't know. This is much better than the original, and I don't feel like there's much up for debate there. It's good. I like it. Anyway, so now we're finished with that main part of the episode. We get to see what Yamato's group are up to, which is kind of different from the previous episodes where we've sort of jumped back and forth between the groups. This is like we only see them at the start of the episode and at the end of the episode. So what happens is that Joe is asleep now, and Government points out that it's quiet, and Yamato says, okay, we'll get on to Kakamon now. So this is hilarious and such like a cute moment, because it turns out that Yamato wasn't being edgy, he wasn't being a lone wolf, he was just sick of Joe talking. Because that's all that Joe was doing. Joe was like, oh, I will explain what scouting is because I'm the oldest and I need to explain things. So that was hilarious, and I love the fact that they kind of... I think they don't hate Joe, but I feel like they're kind of very aware that Joe hasn't shut up in 14 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. And then, of course, we get to see the new and adorable ending theme, which is so much, like, the music is catchy, but also the animation...
Yeah, the whole thing is just really good. It's
weird. It's kind of psychedelic. It makes me think of Rihanna.
It's got some of
I'm not that fond of Rihanna.
I like it. It didn't really give me a psychedelic vibe. It reminded me more of
the visuals are trippy.
A pop-up book. No, but like if you think about a pop-up book, it had all those like ones that I used to have as a kid, and you would have like little spin wheels on the side of the pop-up book, and you'd turn that spin wheel, and it would move things around, and it was coloured in the very same way.
Yeah.
So I got sort of like maybe, if anything, a kaleidoscope. Sort of vibe from it. Yeah. It just reminded me of childhood. It had like the kaleidoscope, and it had I think that's what they were called, the things you put to your eye and you would turn them around and they would be like all different colours and you'd look at the light.
Here's
really
all
pretty.
These psychedelic visuals.
Yeah, but I also got the impression it was like a pop-up book.
I can,
because the swinging, I don't know, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was trippy.
Interestingly, we see TK and Patamon, but we don't see Kari.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like so I think we'll see TK and Patamon before we have an introduction of Hikari.
Yeah.
Like, I previously thought that it'd be the same time, but now I'm thinking...
Although,
that maybe not.
was also in the last ending, so I don't know how much I want to read into that.
Yeah, Takara was also, like, the main part of the last ending as well, because it was Yamato and Takara, which still felt weird.
Yep.
But this feels so good. I don't know. I'm a big, huge fan of the ending this time. It's just, I was kind of, like, okay with the last one, but this one is just so cute. The music's catchy.
Yeah, it's dope.
It's just A+ ending. Big fan of it.
This new
so
one
good.
weirds me out a lot
good.
more. Like, I appreciate more Patamon, but apart from that, it just kind of unsettled me.
Well, I originally just saw a screenshot of Gabumon roasting on the open fire, and I just thought that Yamato had killed him, but no, it was just his pelt, which I was very relieved to know. Alright, so now we're done with Synopsis. Let's move on to our discussion. So, what were your highlights of this episode?
There were too many.
That we had character development.
Yeah, like, that it was more highlighting the crest than any of the previous crest evolution, or evolution to perfect episodes. Yeah. This one was, like, previous ones have been subtle, but this one was just more straight up, like, this is knowledge.
Yep.
Which gives me the impression that if we're going to start naming the crests, I feel like Koshiro is the one that actually names them. I don't think they have any canonical names, maybe, like in terms of the Digimon Lords naming them magically.
Maybe.
I feel like Koshiro is going to name this one Knowledge just because Tentomon said knowledge about 1 million times this episode.
Yeah.
So maybe that inspires him to name his knowledge, and then he looks at what the other people in the group are like, and he names their crests accordingly.
I wonder if they'll still be called crests, because, like, they don't have physical tags and crests anymore.
I guess, although I never thought that tag or crest was a very meaningful, like, name for those physical objects. They're basically
I'm trying to remember, like, I know that the actual, like, the word is actually, emblem as well, I think. I'm trying to remember what the...
Yeah, that would make sense.
The actual word is like...
Yeah, in Japanese, something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think for memory, it's like, it's still tag, but it's tag and emblem, and I think that's just what it says on the crest set that they released a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that sounds vaguely right to me, but it's been a while.
But, yeah. But yeah, we obviously don't need tags, which is great, because I can do without a collection arc.
Mm-hmm.
Collection arcs are not that good.
Nope.
Well, they've just done Digivolution arc instead, which is the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not in addition to the collection arc.
Because we first had to collect all the things. Then we could do a Digivolution arc.
And also, the original Digimon had us having the activation arc as well as the crest collection arc. So we got
to skip a whole step.
You had to get the tags, then you had to get the crests, and then you sort of had to activate them beforehand, and then you could evolve, maybe. So they just jumped straight into it, which I'm fine with. Collection arcs have never been sort of that good, and I'm glad that Digimon isn't a big collectathon anime. I don't know.
No.
I liked it. So yeah, this episode, I have so many highlights. I like the fact that we had them address why they can't communicate with the Digivices, so it not only explains something I was complaining about in previous episodes, that the two groups didn't seem to be communicating, and it also addressed something that happened later on. Like, it explained that Koshiro actually had to look for the others with his brain, and he couldn't just text them on the phone or whatever. Again, using his intelligence. So he was removing all the ways that he had previously been contacting them, either via Digivice or looking up information on his laptop. So that was really good that we addressed that. And also the fact that his laptop breaking was had been foreshadowed previously, and maybe it was because it sort of reflects of his own knowledge and his own power, the fact that maybe using it so much actually made his laptop stop working, because it was reliant on his own intelligence, and that was what was powering it in the digital world. And when he wasn't using his intelligence, when he was relying on it, that was making it not work. And that's the only reason why it was working, which I guess sort of explains why is it stronger and working now? Oh, because Koshiro is not relying on it anymore. So this was a great way of showing his crest, and it was a great way of showing him have a character, and also it showed that Digimon can still foreshadow things episodes in advance, as well as at the start of the episode, and not only when it's immediately relevant. It was just really good. The fight scenes were cool. Togemon was the best. It was, just really, really great. I really liked it. I have so many highlights.
Yeah, No, whole episode was very good.
Yeah.
I actually really appreciated Mimi, acting as a decoy with the weird crystal things. That
Absolutely,
was actually very clever.
And it was really great. And again, it's something that this season has been doing quite well, is that even when an episode is focusing on one of the characters, it doesn't mean that the other characters are useless. They actually do things in the episode. I don't know, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Any other highlights? Because I guess we've sort of addressed them throughout the entire synopsis of things that we liked, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
The whole synopsis was just, and then this good thing happened.
Yep.
Yeah. And also the battle again, and this is not unique to this episode, it's for the whole season. The battles aren't always
I've ever come to expect.
Yeah. And while the battle between Kabutorimon and Akuamon was, hey, just fire the bigger attack, that sort of made sense because we just had tactics for the rest of the group. So I was fine with that.
Yeah, no.
It was just...
What's the plan?
It was a good use of characters.
Hard this time. Oh, yeah, can do that.
Yeah, I liked that. And it was just really, really nice. I really liked the characters. I really liked the fights. And it's just really nice to see Kuwagamon be evil again. Anything else?
I do really like that the villains that they're coming across aren't just like, here's one thing they've got to beat. Instead, they actually have like minions at their disposal and they can outnumber the kids and actually force them to think the way out of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes sense because it means that, just a group of Kuwagamon, that's not really a struggle. And if it was just one perfect level Digimon, not really a struggle when you've got two perfect level Digimon and an adult, like they can deal with that. But when it's a horde of Digimon, basically, then it becomes more challenging and it just makes the stakes seem higher, and I like it.
Just makes for more dynamic fight sequences as well. Because you can have things like Kuwagamon sweeping by and grabbing limbs and all sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, also the ending was good. I know we've already highlighted the fact that the ending theme was good and or trippy, but I really liked it. And also the fact that Yamato wasn't being edgy. He just didn't like how Joe just hadn't shut up.
Yeah.
Which is fair. But the thing is, he's not mean enough to say, "Hey Joe, shut up," like he would in the original. He was just sort of just being by himself because he was more comfortable like that, and that's nice. I don't know. Good use of characters all round. Well done, Digimon. Please, more like this.
Yeah, characters that are believable as people, please.
Yeah. Any other highlights? Are we ready for lowlights?
I think we've hit all of mine, mostly during the synopsis.
Yeah, basically. Like, I feel like we basically discussed a lot of things, especially with the comparisons as well. But lowlights, mine was the fact that Greymon felt weird to evolve to Metal Greymon when he did.
Yeah.
I guess he's just weak. Basically, it made Greymon look weak because he couldn't fight two Kuwagamon, while Togemon, but once she had the use of the mirrors, did not struggle.
Well, I think Togemon's a much more agile fighter than Greymon is.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, I guess, that explains why Togemon didn't evolve to Lilymon, and I was fine with that, because Lilymon is,
although to be fair,
very fast.
Lilymon with a machine gun probably could have just handled this.
Oh yeah, absolutely, but they didn't want to just have two perfects evolve and fight, because it would make the episode easy. But the way they did it sort of explained why there was not much evolution. Also, Togemon's just really... I love watching Togemon fight.
Togemon is nice.
She's just punching things and she's fighting, and I'm just like, I love you so much, Togemon.
It's just so much gold.
So much. Any other lowlights? Because that was my only lowlight, and it's not even that bad in terms of Digimon. It's just like, oh, I didn't really like when they evolved. I didn't like Greymon evolving. That's it. That's my lowlight. Something that happens in every episode. Like, I was really, scratching the bell, there has to be something bad. Okay, that's my complaint. I have a complaint. Go me.
My only real low light is when they cut back to the real world just to give us an update, because it just felt kind of out of place.
Yeah,
and kind of just felt like they were doing it that way because Izzy's laptop wasn't working.
Yeah, I know, I get it. It did feel kind of random.
Yeah, it's weird that we're not getting that update diegetically. The kids don't know this.
Yeah,
they know
it's just
things are not
out
good,
of
but...
universe.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. That's a good point.
But apart from that, and the ending being slightly unsettling for me, maybe it'll grow on me, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I don't really have any other complaints.
Oh, also, the weird random additional sound effects in the opening. What was with that?
I didn't even register their existence.
I'll have to go back and pay more attention to them because I had just finished moving a bunch of furniture and wasn't paying that much attention. You don't look for, new things in the same song we've heard a bunch of times.
Well, to be fair, it was only like 3 parts.
Yeah.
And it was only really at the start of the opening, so it was sort of very missable.
Yeah.
But I just sort of, because I guess I was paying attention, like, oh, that's weird, but that's it. Like, I don't have that many lowlights. Anything else?
I don't recall Be the Winners being in this episode, and that makes me sad, because it's the best song.
Yeah, I think we just got Extreme Fight.
We did.
Like, Extreme Fight's growing on me, but it's no Be the Winners.
Extreme Fight is really growing on me, which is really nice.
Yeah, no, I kind of dig it.
Yeah, the soundtrack's pretty good.
It is good.
Like, a lot of complaints I've seen, again, on when I've been uploading the Evolution clips to YouTube, is a lot of people complaining that there's no Braveheart or Butterfly, and it's like,
well,
why?
We have new music.
Like, people come and say, oh yeah, it's okay, but it's no Braveheart. I'm like, Braveheart isn't... Braveheart's a fine song, but when you've heard it, like, in every Evolution for, like,
the past
20 years, you're kind of just like, okay, next.
New thing, please.
But, I don't have that many lowlights.
No, same.
Any other scraping the barrel here? Any other complaints?
They should subtitle it as Han and not San.
What?
They should subtitle it as Koshiro Han and not Koshiro San.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's been the entire time. Which again, now we've addressed that he speaks in Kanzai Ben, but they're removing the Kanzai Ben from the subtitles. Feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically it for lowlights. Compared with the original series, I think we basically touched on that throughout the episode.
Yeah, no, this was definitely a lot better than Izzy losing his brain or whatever.
Yeah, he surrenders it because he's falling to his death.
This is episode 14.
Yeah.
So, wasn't this the episode where Etemon came into the original series?
Yes, it was.
And there's no Etemon in this, so this is obviously worse.
Oh, I love Etemon too, but, like, I think it's fine.
Imagine if Etemon was there instead of Akuamon. Like, Etemon was in charge of the Kawagamon.
You know what? That would have been baller.
Yeah, that'd have been... I like Etemon, but then again,
No.
I feel like I'd rather see someone win a fight rather than the bad guy escaping, and I feel like if it was Etemon, he would just escape.
That's
because
true.
he's Etemon.
I do love the image of Etemon on the back of a Kawagamon, though.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Digimon riding other... Like, we had it with Ogamon, but him riding Digimon was just really cool. It just made it seem... Oh, just really, really cool. I don't know. And yeah, I like it when Digimon are using other Digimon, if that makes sense.
So you're
teamwork.
Anything...
Got it. God, May.
Well, and mainly evil characters. Not really good characters
just
because it's sort of
shit.
Yeah. What about favorite character?
Koshiro. Easy.
Yeah. How can it not be? Well, I suppose you could go with Mimi, but Koshiro.
I chose Tentomon, but when I say Tentomon, I mean I'm including Kabuterimon
it's the same character.
Tentomon. Yeah, so it's Tentomon the character, in not just
the form.
Tentomon as himself, but Tentomon as everyone he evolved into. Because the Kabuterimon at your service, such a cool line. So was that Koshiro for everyone else?
Yeah.
That's fair. I was half expecting Stevie to say, "Oh well, just Mimi again." So because May wants to pick Mimi, because I wanted to pick Mimi.
I could pick Mimi if you want to go with Tentomon.
Oh no, it's fine. Koshiro is a fine pick. Koshiro was good in this episode. Tentomon was better. But
Mimi
also
for the
Togemon.
memes.
I was close to picking Togemon.
I need more Mimi episodes in the near future.
Oh yeah, I hope. Well, we've got at least one.
Yeah, but we're gonna get Joe next time, and I'm less excited for Joe, but I'm hoping that we get a little more out of his character than we've had so far.
Oh yeah, I'm worried about Joe, but it could be good.
Don't worry about Joe. Joe's worrying enough for everyone.
Oh, poor Joe.
Although at this point,
what
he's
about...
just really excited to be the senpai.
Yeah, he's taking it, and it's precious, and it's kind of annoying, Yamato, but I'm here for that. What about ratings? So, Stevie, what did you give this episode out of 5?
I gave it a 4.5.
That is legitimate. And Quinn?
I have been on the fence between a 4.5 and a 5, and I think I'm going to go 4.5 because I hope there's still room to go up.
Quinn has never given a 5, but she has given now 3 4.5s.
I gave 1 5, and like I just couldn't go up to 5 for this because I didn't feel that hyped watching it, but I could appreciate how good it was still.
I was close to giving a 4.5, but I gave it a 5 because I really liked this episode.
Yeah,
fair.
That's a very reasonable
I felt
decision.
like if I gave it a 4.5, it would be ignoring the fact that all of a sudden we have actual foreshadowing and we have actual use of characters and actual use of the crests as being something. So I had to give it a 5, but a 4.5 is completely valid choice.
Yeah, I would like there to be a season, or even just the rest of this series, where I can take that kind of thing as a given, and not just, be, oh god, they had character development. You know how fucking rare that is?
Well, Quinn, we discussed it last episode that if we keep on getting good episodes, we'll have to readjust the scale, and I'm still hoping for that. Like, I feel like if we get more episodes like this, we absolutely have to redo the scale if they're at this level.
Yeah. I mean, my scale's been fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, we might have to like say that if we get an episode that's better than episode 6, episode 14, and episode 12, which were basically all our favourite episodes, I feel like we can't just go 6 out of 5. We'll have to do an adjusting, is what I mean.
You two might. I've been rating fine from the beginning.
Well, okay then.
You've given a lot of 5. Like, you've given how many...
I've given 1 5. Everything else has been 4 or lower.
Yeah. But anyway, so... We'll get to that if we need to, but at the moment, hopefully we do, because I want things to get better.
Exactly. I really hope that there is still room for improvement here, because this... When we first started the series, I was hoping that this level of quality would be, every episode. And so far, that has not...
And it still might be that.
...been the case. But
yeah, but it still might be... Yeah. Oh, hopefully. Like, that's always the aim. What about ranking? How we're ranking this episode. So, Stevie, where are we putting episode 13 on your ranking?
Well, based on the score, it comes second.
It comes second, so under episode 9 and above episode 1?
Yep.
And, Quinn, where are we putting this episode?
I think I'm going to put it in the top spot.
The top spot?
Yeah.
Alright, so...
You're putting it above Lilymon Blossoms?
Yeah.
And the Targeted Kingdom?
Sure, I earned it.
So Quinn's is now 13, 6, 12. Stevie's is now 9, 13, 1. As for me, I put it in second place, so my ranking is 12, 13, 6. As for our overall ranking, looking at the overall scores, as in adding the 5 and the 4.5 and the other 4.5, this episode actually gets a 14, which is now our highest collective rated episode.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
The previous ones being 13.5, which is episode 12, and episode 6, which is also 13.5. So in our overall ranking, this goes to the top. So, which is completely reasonable. Like, it's
good.
It was a good episode, and more episodes should be like this, because it's well written. They actually use characters. They actually use crests as something more than just, hey, look, emotions.
Yep.
This one seemed a lot more better utilized.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I actually was unsure whether to put this above 12, and I decided to put below 12, but then I realised, what about episode 6? And I really liked episode 6, but I feel like this is just a little bit better than episode 6 for me. But in terms of our overall ranking, it's reasonable that it would be at the top, because it was a good episode. So I guess the King of Insects Clash is actually the king of the ranking, and we stands a king. That's what the kids are saying, right? We stand an Insect King?
Yeah, of course.
That's approximately what they're saying, right?
What else could they possibly be saying?
Yeah, absolutely. They're definitely talking about Atlas Kabuterimon. That's what all the kids are saying these days.
All the kids with their £6.50 Crunchyroll subscriptions.
Or Anime Lab. Or Hulu.
Yeah, all these kids with their subscriptions that need credit cards.
Or they just have a lot of email addresses and trial accounts.
Yeah, they can always make more.
I already had an Anime Lab subscription, so I am pleased as punch that I did not have to get another streaming service.
Yeah.
Because there are too many now. It's making it almost... Yeah. But anyway, so we'll move on to questions. So, Sean Holly on YouTube, and... Just before I get into the question, I would like to point out that every time I see Sean spelled S-E-A-N, my monkey brain goes scene.
Yeah.
And I wish I didn't. I do the same thing with Sealamon being Koalamon. It's just hyperbole instead of hyperbole. That's a big one. So my monkey brain almost said, Scene Holly, Sean Holly on YouTube says that they like the episode, but they definitely think it's a popcorn episode, just sit back and enjoy the show kind of deal, which kind of sucks because it's supposed to be a development episode of Sora, but hopefully we'll get more in the future. Their favourite part of the episode was easily the end of the fight with Cannonbeamon, where its head just straight falls off.
Yeah.
Honestly surprising that wasn't mentioned. Also, Joe's "Sora, you're so cool" was really cute. As for when the series is going, I'm hoping that after these next couple of episodes, we can get the Chosen back together and they either head to Leomon's Resistance on the way to the Holy Digimon, or we see more direct involvement from Devimon. I really hope that we wait until at least TK and Kari show up to get Megas, as I feel like having Ultimates this early, while not bad, is definitely going to push the series into a different direction than any other season, at least power-wise. They then continue to say that they're honestly hoping that the Ultimate Evolutions were going to be a bit soft-lock, so to speak, behind a strong need, at least for a little bit. So they're kind of disappointed that they're just going, we guess we got to power up forms, as they were already enjoying the glowy power boosts.
Yeah.
All in all, they're really enjoying the series, but the current direction is making them curious and honestly a little concerned with how they plan to fill out a full 66 episodes with the pace we're moving at currently. And they're valid points. I hope that we just get like the rest of the episodes that aren't evolution episodes are just witty, good, like character ones. I don't mind them being split up now. I know I complained about the separation arc at the start, but judging by the direction that they went in, I feel like it's nice to have focus on those characters, but it is...
I told you it would be good.
They're valid points.
You should listen to me more often.
Yeah. As for the direction, I think we're going to probably head to Leomon's Resistance, and then maybe there's Devimon involvement, or there's Devimon involvement on the way to the Holy Digimon, and then we just happen to chance upon Leomon, maybe.
Something like that, yeah. In some way we will end up with Leomon. I won't be
and he'll die
if he just like pops up out of nowhere
and dies immediately.
Yeah, I'm hoping for at least 2 episodes, but it is Digimon.
Do you think we'll get TK or Leomon first?
Probably Leomon. Yeah. We're gonna have to invoke some kind of way of getting back to the real world, or more people into the digital world. So I feel like there's gonna be another arc ended before we decide that we need to do that.
Yeah, but anything. This episode, as in episode 13 or what? No, episode 14. What episode was this? Episode 14. This episode has just made me a little bit more hopeful for the direction that they're going in. But maybe I'm silly.
It's a good episode. I'm still not sure where the series is going.
Yeah, I hope it's somewhere good.
Yeah.
Then Daniel on YouTube says, with regard to Joe's weight, I feel like he should be 35 or 40 kilograms. Really depends on height. However, Sora's still the buffest chosen child, and absolutely, I still can't believe that she carried Joe and Goemon with one arm.
Oh, she carried them through that whole episode, but that's...
Yeah, I wish Sora would carry more things through her episodes, as in the plot.
Yeah.
Anyway, next, Dash Speed on YouTube says, at the end that we compared the original to the new series, and here's their thoughts on that so far. The original felt unrefined, with a lot of ideas that somehow worked. The new series is structured following an order, like a checklist so far. Some stuff may be hit or not, depending on the order of events. I think with 66 episodes, 12 more than the original, 54, they should give some more room to let stuff breathe. So, yep, that's fair, I hope.
That would be good.
Yeah. Next, Red Ranger on YouTube says that they feel like we're going to get Megas very soon after all the Digimon get their ultimate levels. We have yet to see TK and Kari. How do you think they will introduce TK and Kari and their Digimon evolutions? I have no idea. I think we're going to see something about the Holy Digimon, and I think that's going to explain it. Maybe we're going to go back to the real world. Maybe we defeat Devimon, and then we go back to the real world, and then find out that there's still something troubling going on. I don't know. That maybe that's when Vandamon steps in and then we meet TK and Kari? I don't know.
Yeah, I do expect that their Digimon will already be, if quite possibly already at Mega level, if the rest of the group is. And I kind of hope that's not the case. I would prefer that they put that off for a while and let us get some real character development in first, but I don't really think we're going to do that.
I would quite like to have an episode just dedicated to solely TK and then one for solely Kari, as they meet the Digimon partners before they join the team.
Yeah, I like that. I hope so. But I guess it's kind of hard to tell. I don't think we'll get to Mega so soon. I feel like we're going to have some plot with Devimon and maybe Leomon and maybe even Ogremon again. Hopefully Ogremon comes back. I hope that he's not just dead forever.
I think he's dead.
I was enjoying that. Next, we have Anna Bear on YouTube, who says RIP Tamagotchi, because remember, my Tamagotchi Ocean died at the end of the last episode, which was really sad. Anyway, Annabelle says they liked the episode. Of course, it wasn't as good as previous episodes, but not as bad as Taichi and Ogumon's episode. Gomamon riding around on fishes is really cute, and they personally think that where Gomamon didn't just punch a hole to let every Funbeamon escape is to prevent the Wasmon from either entering where they are or being attacked by them. Bergermon and Ikakumon would have been able to keep them all back. Or wouldn't have, rather. But yeah, that's valid. Next, and the last comment we have is 3before2 on YouTube, who says their interpretation of Joe not wanting Gomamon to evolve was that he was worried that Ikakumon would break the net and they'd fall, but I could be wrong about that. And that's, yeah, actually I didn't think about that, but that makes sense. Or maybe, I thought it may be because he didn't have the emotional power because he was sick, but that works too. And that's it for our questions and discussion for this episode.
Ooh, fair enough.
Alright everyone, so you can join us next week for episode 15, Zudomon's Iron Hammer of Lightning, which is again a weirdly worded direct translation, which, again, I'm sorry I asked for this. Do we have any predictions besides the obvious?
I would like it if this episode were as, neatly character-driven, and there's enough chemistry between Gomamon and Joe that they could probably pull that off, but it's gonna depend a lot on whether or not the writers put in the work.
Yeah, I'm worried about it because I feel like lightning doesn't strike twice, and that's not a pun intended for Zudomon's Iron Hammer of Lightning. That, good episodes don't tend to be clumped together in Digimon. They seem to be just sort of randomly spread apart. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that this is a fantastic episode. I hope that Quinn finally gives a 5 out of 5 or something.
That would be wild. I don't expect it, but I'd be here for it.
I feel bad. I'm the only one who's given, just 5s just all the time.
It's because you're the most cynical person on the show.
I guess someone has to be.
Yeah.
I think Chrome Digizoids could come up.
Well, isn't his hammer Chrome Digizoid?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, it probably will.
I want it to come up just so that the title's wrong.
That would be very funny.
Yeah. I hope Chris Hemsworth's in this episode.
I hope we don't have 6 kinds of Chrome Digizoid. I do not think that that's a good mechanic.
No. Anything else?
Something will happen underwater.
This is
water will be involved.
This is the last perfect Evo, so I'm guessing we're going to foreshadow Takeru within the episode somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe even Devimon showing up at the end of the episode doing this a cliffhanger.
I think it might be Devimon.
But we'll get something that directs the plot, and it's not just I want to call this evolution filler, where it's not filler, but it more or less feels like there's nothing really happening in the plot besides the evolutions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where it's only not filler because of the Digivolution.
And evolution,
yeah.
But in reality, you could just easily just get rid of these episodes and just say, oh, we evolved along the way.
Yep.
Because if you think about it, besides knowing about Leomon in episode 11, there's been nothing that really has happened in terms of the plot.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is the last part of that, enclosed evolution arc filler. So a cliffhanger or some sort of hint at something happening, because we haven't had any, episode 11, we got Leomon existing, but we also found out about TK. So, I don't know. I feel like sometime soon.
The series has to go
ready
somewhere.
to wrap this up?
Let's wrap this up.
So, the link dump's in the description, and a Redbubble's also linked in the description, and you can get more than just shirts there too. You can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on our website, LostinTranslationmon.com. On our website, you can also vote in polls if we have any, and you can check out our release schedule and our blog posts. You can follow us at TranslationMon on Twitter, and you can find us on Lost in Translation on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will, and a red thread in Digimon subreddit. We'd also appreciate it if you would review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any other podcast listening app that you use. And if you do, we'll read out the review on the podcast. You can also donate to our Patreon, which is in the description from as little as $1 a month. That gets you access to a listed Discord server, but there are higher levels with more rewards such as notes, early episodes, and more. And thank you to our supporters on Patreon, Joe, Anime Guy, who's Anime Guy Kurosaki1 on YouTube, Stephen Reeves, who's Wildwing64 on Archive Our Own, Kaidawashi, Chisai, who you can follow on Tumblr at Chisai236, Kyle, Lizmet, who's a Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Madalmaimon, Sam, Spiral, Keith from Gone Will Hunting, a Hunter Hunter Rewatch podcast, Silverhead Freak 25, Magnus, Lucas, Blindman, and Japhus. You can also make a one-off donation on PayPal, Rujik Family description. It's paypal.me/Edgemon. You can also donate to me on my Ko-fi account, ko-fi.com/Airdra. And of course, thank you to Stevie.
Oh, that's me.
And Quinn for joining me.
Did I join you? I thought I was just kind of here.
We're all kind of here.
Yeah.
And of course, Quinn, where can we find you?
Nowhere. Except on
Nowhere.
Moncast.
Except on the Moncast, of course. And Stevie, where can we find you?
I'm on the Moncast sometimes.
We're all sometimes on the Moncast.
It's true.
I'm on the Moncast most times.
Most times. And I'm there more often than not, I guess.
Yeah, you know, we all have a bad week.
Yeah, I'm there in spirit. And when I am there, I'm very sorry that I derail things. But I guess you'll have to listen to the Moncast to find out how I derail things. On the off chance that it's ever left in the episode, which it usually is, and it's exciting
Sometimes
when it is. And we make something like the titty supercut, which is phenomenal.
You know what, May? You should just cut in the titty supercut at the end of this episode.
Stevie, can you please send the titty supercut to me so I can chuck that on to the end of the episode, please?
Sure, I'll do that.
The episode title here has to be titty supercut.
No, I was going to call it We Stan an Insect King.
Alright, that's fair.
But yes, so of course, thank you for listening, and of course, thank you, huge, big, wonderful thank you to my amazing co-hosts, Quinn and Stevie, for also joining me.
Aw, you're sweet.
You are welcome.
Yay, I'm welcome.
This was fun.
So, yeah, so thank you everyone for listening, and I'm going to go have breakfast before I start work. So I will see you guys next episode. Bye!
Bye!
Titty look? Like those inflated titties? Fox titties, not human titties. Remember what we were talking about before we got into the anime titties and the fox titties? And that's what we were talking about before we got to titties.
Stop saying titties.
No, I'm actually saying titties with a D. It's different.
Titties. Titties.
TDs.
Titties. Titties. It's like when you're setting up a table in HTML and you get sidetracked because of too many titties. The strongest titties. I really need to ask a furry about the nipple thing. Why do furries not have 6 titties? I'll ask. I don't think we actually said it, or maybe I got distracted by the titties.
If you want to talk about today's episodes and titties,
why do they not have 6 titties? I've never seen the furry with the 6 titties, but now I need to see this. Not for like any weird reason. I need to see. Yes, it'll be a cliffhanger, a titty hanger, if you will.
I'm not going to start the next recording by going into whatever Keith has said about furry titties.
Titties. Less anime titties, I'm sorry.
Oh, when you're editing this, you should count the number of times that May said titties.
Oh, wait, no, you've got to count how many times I say titties with a T and how many times I say titties with a D.
Every time the word titties is said, whether it's with T's or D's, I will just cut it out, and all the outtakes will be is all of us saying that word multiple times.
That is the best!
It's just a titties supercut.
Can you do a special version of the episode where every time someone says titties it gets faster, like the B-movie?
I want to know how long this episode is with just speeding up at every titty. Titty, titty, titty.